There is this Millennium Challenge Compact of $500 million between the United States and Ghana that is focused on power generation, where Power Africa is the initiative that is facilitating the changes and the connections and the opportunities that are at the center of that compact. So whether $60 billion will ultimately be realized or not isn't in the hands of one president. It's in the hands of several Congresses. But we have passed the statute, the Electrify Africa Act. We are continuing to deliver on the projects. And there are power plants and projects being built in more than a dozen countries. We actually had a detailed briefing on it. Was that earlier today or yesterday? My sense of it was this morning. So we had a detailed briefing this morning on a number of different projects to help address Ghana's power constraints and power challenges. And as I referenced, we're at a point where reform in the utility sector is essential to attract more investment. Ghana has an unusual problem in having more capacity more generating capacity than power is actually being delivered. And I don't think I understood until this morning the ways in which climate change is reducing the generating capacity of your hydropower assets, which are impressive. There's a lot of work to do together in continuing to deliver on Power Africa and the promise of Electrify Africa. But if there's any country where I expected to be asked what's happened, it wasn't a country where $500 million in American money has been committed. What is in it for the United States? That's your larger question. Well, first, we spend less than 1% of our total federal budget on foreign assistance. We spend less than 1% of our federal budget on foreign assistance. And the top 5 countries that receive foreign assistance from the United States are not in Africa. They're countries where we have long-standing strategic relationships. Countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Egypt, and Israel. But if you look at the next 10 countries in terms of receipt of assistance, they're virtually all in Africa. So why do we spend hundreds of millions of dollars with Ghana? Why wouldn't we? You are a democracy. You are a stable country. You contribute to peacekeeping. You contribute to the international order. It is in our interest and your interest. Ghanaians are the second largest group of African university students in the United States after Nigerians. There are incredibly close ties between Ghana and the United States. At church this morning, 3 different people came up to me and said, "Oh, I just came back from the United States. I was visiting my son who's at school, or I was visiting my cousin who is running a small business, or I have a house in, So I think our relationships between Ghana and the United States are close and long and positive. We sell more products to Ghana, including chicken from my home state, our very good export. I hope you love Delaware chicken. We export a lot of our products to Ghana, but that's not the reason to do it. The reason to do it has to do with our shared values. There's a whole lot of Ghanaian cocoa that ends up in Hershey's that his home district purchases, and there's a whole lot of chicken from my state that you purchase. Our world is stronger when we are woven together in a network of shared values. And a country that is multi-ethnic, multi-faith, multilingual, multi-party, and yet a stable democracy, what a great partner for the journey ahead.